Hi everybody, welcome to Insider Yachting. This is the full-length review for Charge It, the 70-foot Princess or Viking sport cruiser, depending on which part of the world you're at. She's an express cruiser and a fantastic option and going for a great price. So as you're looking through the review, watching the video, if you want to get the yacht pack, which is full of the brochure, the photographs, all the descriptions and specs, and some market analysis for pinpointing the current market value, then click on the yacht pack button. It's just over here on the right. If you're watching on the website, if you're watching on YouTube or any other media, then just down below the window, click on the link to the website and you'll get all the good stuff there. So let's get started into Charge It. So there's a nice side profile shot there. Now this boat was launched in 2006, so it's a few years old now, but Princess really have a great way of making their yachts look kind of timeless, and especially in the sort of recent 5, 6 or 7 years, they've really got a great profile and design team. Put this up against a boat that is 2012, 2013, and you'll be pushed to see much of a difference. So looking at the specs, 70 feet length, almost 17 feet in the beam, so she is quite beamy. She has good volume on the interior. Only 4'6" in draft, which is great for this size boat. They have a good hull shape to them, which means that they can still maintain the stability of the boat without having to go through all of that deep V sort of shape that some of the other manufacturers do. It's named Viking Sport Cruiser here. That of course is Princess over in the UK. So these boats are built in the UK, then shipped over to the Viking facility in the States, and then they're finished off with electrical wiring. Because this boat is 60 hertz and wide for the 110, the American version of the power, then it means that all of that has to be fitted with much heavier cabling. Also, the air conditioning is upgraded because it's so humid and hot over here compared with old dreary England. All of that equipment has to be upgraded. So when you're comparing boats that are over in the States with the equivalent boat over in Europe or in the UK, you'll notice a big price difference. And that's not to do with any kind of conversion or just the fact that they're cheap. The boats are generally cheaper over there. There is actually a reason for it, and they do have that upgraded equipment. So rather than looking at the boat in Europe and thinking about shipping it over to the States, which some boats have done, and they're generally the boats that you'll see sat around on the market for quite a while not selling, because you get into all sorts of insurance issues when you bring a boat over to the States and then you upgrade all the cabling and you have to start taking panels down and rewiring the whole boat. There are still issues there which make it difficult to resell. So you're much better off, if you're going to use a boat over in the States or anywhere over that side of the pond, much better getting a boat that's actually initially built and purposed for the 60 hertz and the 110 power. So back into the specs. Fiberglass hull, it's flagged in the BVI. The great Caterpillar C32 engines, we saw some of them fitted in the trawler style boats that we reviewed last week. You'll notice that they're much lower graded as far as the power output goes, though. With the trawlers, I think the largest horsepower output was 1,000. Here we see 1675, so they are much more powerful engines, even though they're the same series. It says 4 staterooms. That is actually 3 guest staterooms plus 1 crew. Now, it's not to say that you can't use the crew room for like a kid's room, but as far as full ensuite staterooms, there is only 3 here. So it's in West Palm Beach in Florida right now, and a nice asking price of $1,699,000. So looking into the photographs, really nice brochure. They've had some professional photography done, so you'll notice a big difference between this brochure as opposed to brochure that a broker has walked around with his iPhone and snapped a few photographs. And it does make a huge difference in the rate that the boat will sell. These boats with either videos to go along with the sales media or professional photographs do sell a lot faster than boats with a broker representing it that hasn't quite done everything he should do to show the boat in its best light. So this is very, very good brochure. The main salon here, the TV that's here, you can't quite see it in that top photograph. It's sort of back in the lower left-hand corner, just out of shot of this photograph. But a really beautiful quality feel to this whole area. Princess are probably my personal favorites for express cruises. They do a great job of flybridge as well, but I think they really have a good hold of this express cruiser style. They have great resale value, great engineering, very low maintenance, and very good on the warranty side of things as well. So the top photograph, looking forwards, there are 2 separate helm sets of seats here. The actual pilot side is on the right hand side as you look forward there on the starboard side, and on the other they actually have readouts for some management screens and different bits and pieces. We'll see that further on in this brochure. The lower photograph showing one of the sofas there, real heavy woods that they use, good quality, none of this sort of fiberboard feel that you'll get in some of the cheaper manufacturers. Lots and lots of light. They've actually taken the photographs here at night, so you can't really see it. But you can imagine in the daytime, lots of light will flood into this area. And the back glass doors are sort of clear the whole way through. There's no big cabinetry or anything in the way there. Looking at the top photograph, that forward section of ceiling panels that you can see is kind of separate there. That's actually a retractable roof. Pretty much all of the express cruiser manufacturers are doing the same standard sort of feature now, where the roof retracts back. A nice feature, great if you're at anchor and want to maybe switch the air conditioning off, open all the windows and doors. It's a nice feature. So there, the top left, we can see that's the TV. Not a huge TV. Some manufacturers you'll see larger units fitted. Personally, if I'm on a 70-foot express cruiser, I'm not going to be sat inside watching TV all day anyway, so not a huge issue for me. The photograph below that, you can see there are big glass sliding doors looking back to the aft deck. On the right hand side, this is now moving forwards towards the galley. So the galley is forwards. It's quite nice open plan. It has some beautiful skylights. You can actually see that in the bottom photograph on the right hand side there. Lots and lots of natural light coming in. We have the 2 portholes above the countertop on the top photograph on the right as well. So this is all kind of open plan. It's forwards of the helm station. Some of the European manufacturers will, because it's a bit more of a formal sort of service industry over there as far as the yachting industry is concerned, they do tend to segregate the galley a bit more than American builders, where it's a bit more sort of open plan, sort of a country kitchen concept. But here they've actually made quite a nice sort of halfway point between those two different styles there. And you'll see the other style in the other boats that we review this week as well, where they really do segregate that small sort of galley and try and tuck it out of the way almost. So back to charge it now. We're in the master cabin, so it's a full beam master cabin, beautiful full beam master cabin. The one side you have the sofa, the other side you have a vanity with a mirrored desk, a little makeup desk, a full king size bed. And as we saw in the first photograph, the first profile shot at the start of the brochure, we could see those big long side hull windows. So they're actually behind these blinds that they have drawn here. But you can imagine you're right on the waterline there. You can imagine all that sunlight coming in. Nicely decorated as well, so neutral tones. They have used a lot of high gloss finishes here. Some of the boats from Princess in the same style will use a satin finish, and that's just a choice from on the spec sheet. When you build a boat like this, you can choose whether you have satin or gloss. And we can see in the lower photograph on the right hand side there, you can see the nice big flat screen TV. And the bottom photograph on the left, that's of the ensuite head. They don't really include many more photographs than that, but you know, a nice finish to it. It kept the high gloss cabinetry in there, so it all flows quite well from the cabin through to the head. Now into the forward VIP cabin. I don't think this is quite a queen. I might be wrong, but it is, you know, a fairly big sized bed. They have the nice skylight up in the top there that you can see. It's actually got the cover drawn, but that can open. I think they just have it closed for the photography here. And either side of the windows, port and starboard of the bed, there's a nice big porthole there as well. And again, ensuite with the TV in there, you can see both of those on the lower photograph on the right hand side. And there's another shot of that VIP bathroom there on the top on the left. So the other cabin here, that is a bunk cabin. You can see that at the bottom there. And then the fourth cabin, as I mentioned earlier, that is the crew cabin. Again, en suite. Not really a full guest cabin, but if you had kids, you wanted to tuck them towards the back of the boat and keep them out of harm's way, then that's a good spot for them. So moving back up into the main salon, into the helm area, nice big flat screen. I think that's a Garmin screen there for your chart plotter, radar. And then on the other side, you can see that on the top photograph, on the left, that's I believe that's sort of tank readouts, different power management screens there. So nice to have all of that stuff. Actually looks quite impressive over to that side there. So now moving to the exterior. Princess do a great job on the exterior with all of their seating areas. Now you'll see much more seating areas on this boat than you will on equivalent size boats from other manufacturers. Part of that is to do with this central walkway down the middle. It means they can utilize more of the boat's beam by just having the one walkway down the middle rather than having to use two walkways, one either side of the central sort of sun lounger. But more than that, they really sort of build that into the house along the sides here, working a little bit closer to the main salon. So on one side you'll see, on the port side you'll see a short settee, and then they have this long grill area. They have ice makers, fridges there, and a nice wet bar. It's really a huge unit, great for entertaining. And then on the other side, you'll see outside sort of dining space. So the table as it's there now, you can see it on that top photograph on the right. That's actually folded up for sort of use during the day, just when people are sort of walking backwards and forwards. But that table will actually fold out into double the size, and you can add all seats around the side, and that will easily sit sort of 6 to 8 people. So a real great layout there. Now moving back from that, and you can kind of see it on the bottom photograph on the left, are our 2 big sun pads. Now below that, and this is kind of ingenious from Princess, below that, and you can see it in the bottom photograph on the right, you have the passerelle in between, but either side of that are 2 separate garages, and they have automatic sort of cowling. This whole back section and the teak floor all lifts up, and inside there you can either fit 2 3-man jet skis, or you can have 1 large jet ski and 1 tender, like the Williams jet tender that they use in a lot of these sort of style boats. And that tender is, I think overall it's 10 or 11 feet. So real great options here for concealing these tenders and toys, and keep them out of the sort of way of the salt and all the spray. That's always the problem when you have submersing swim platforms at the back, and then you with the chocks, and you drive the tender on and then lift it up. When you're actually underway, all of the spray from the wash of the propellers is all coming up and always coating the tender. So nice to have them tucked away there and out of the way. Also the passerelle, great that the passerelle retracts fully. Some of the other manufacturers that are out there will have a passerelle that doesn't sort of retract all the way and sort of just sits there and has to tie down while you're underway. It looks kind of awkward. So a very neat, very tidy, very nice option here. And in the top photograph in the left, that's our big sort of grill and wet bar and fridges, ice maker, that big unit on the back there as well. So last few photographs, there's a nice back shot there showing the other side of the stern quarter. And there you can see the line that comes down. That's sort of the divide between this door and the rest of the hull. So you can imagine all of that opens up, and you can get in there with your tender or jet ski. Now, the other 2 photographs don't show as much, just the styling. Nice teak, full walk rounds, port and starboard round to the bow, and of course we have another sunbathing platform up there on the bow as well. So all about the exterior, these express cruisers, lots of sunbathing areas, and great access in and out of the water as well. So into the write-up, as always, I'm not going to read this line for line. If you'd like to get this, then get that yacht pack. We have all of this information in the yacht pack. It's all ready to go. Just email me via the yacht pack link, and I'll reply and send that off to you right away. At the top there, we can see our teak walk-around decks. The upgraded factory electrical wiring, that's what I was mentioning at the beginning. Everything has to be upgraded for the US because it's such heavier cabling. You're going from a 240, which is European electrical, down to 110, which is here, which means the current is a lot higher, the amperage, so you need heavier cabling to safely carry that. Salon, the settees with storage underneath. This boat does have SAT TV, so that's where they store the SAT TV receivers. Has a wine cooler. The flat screen TV, we saw that, has an upgraded Bose surround sound system. the galley, all of the usual bits and pieces of equipment that you would expect to see, the convection oven or microwave oven, the fridge freezers, the stainless steel sink, the garbage disposal, the dishwasher. Into the master cabin, we saw all of that good stuff there with the king-size walk-around bed. Full beam is the master cabin. Details some other bits and pieces in the rest of the cabins. The bridge area details the KVH satellite TV, the cell phone system that they have on board, the Furuno autopilot, the chairs that they have on here. They are the custom electric chairs that Princess offered during the build. That's an upgrade or an add-on from the build. Into the aft deck, details the port and starboard sun pads with the storage underneath. The access to the crew cabin is also back there as well. The details of the wet bar with the ice maker, the refrigerator, the big grill, all the storage that's in that grill unit. And at the bottom there you can see port and starboard garages for the jet skis. Only mentions jet skis there. You can fit one of those rib tenders in. Depending on the size, you might have to deflate those pontoons a little bit in order to fit it in there. But plenty of power back there in order to plug in your fans to blow it back up. The passerelle, exterior speakers, audio equipment, details some more bits and pieces there. Into the generators and the mechanical equipment, it has the Onan generators, great, very reliable, details all of the battery equipment and the chargers that they have. The engines, they are the Cat 32s, the C32s, great engines, very reliable, 1675 horsepower each, which is hugely powerful engines. That's why this boat can get up to the 38 knots that we saw earlier on. The hours, pretty standard for this age boat. It is a 2006 that has been around long. In fact, for a 2006, these hours are quite low. It's usual that the express cruisers have higher usage on them, higher hours on the main engines and on the generators. Generally, they're classed as day boats, so people will go out on them more often than people will go out on larger boats. You would expect an express cruiser to go out 1 to 2 weekends a month, or if someone is really up on their yachting experience, they'll go away for a week at a time, which this boat is capable of holding people for that long. But generally on the larger boats, for some reason you find people don't actually go out and experience and enjoy their boat as much as people do on the smaller boats. Maybe it's because they're too busy, who knows, but generally on express cruises in this size range and smaller, they do have higher usage. So don't be afraid or scared away by the 1,450 hours that are on these engines. The engines are good to go for many, many more thousands of miles than that. I've seen engines, Caterpillar engines, up to 14, even 20,000 hours, believe it or not. And in the larger engines, in the bigger super yachts, even more than that. You can imagine these super yachts which stick to a regimented charter season, so they go from the Caribbean up to New England, then back over to the Med, then and keep on moving around like that. You can imagine the hours that are on those engines. So reading through that, it actually says that they have the Caterpillar extended warranties as well. So even better, no problems there at all. The remarks, it just goes into a bit of details, probably from the Princess website. It does mention there that a new V70 is around $4 million. So reflecting that back to the asking price on this is actually going for a very good price. So I'll leave it on that note for Charge It. As I mentioned, get that yacht pack. If you are watching this on YouTube, then you can either hit the subscribe button and get all of the notifications of when our latest reviews are up. I will encourage you to click on the link to the website, because that's where all of the good stuff and all of the full details are kept on the website. So the boat is in South Florida. If you want to go on board during one of our daily yacht tours, we do these tours throughout the week. They are getting quite busy now. So the bottom button over on the right hand side, the daily yacht tours, click on that, give me your name and email address, tell me when would be the best time for you to do the tour, and I'm sure we can fit you in there. So thanks for joining me. We have 2 other boats, the 2 other express cruises to come, so click on those links and I'll see you over there.